What is up everyone, and welcome to some more F1 23 My Team Career Mode, and we are here for round 10 of our first season as Jaguar Racing. We are going to be at the Austrian Grand Prix. Last time out we were at the Canadian Grand Prix, and after a sensationally bad qualifying, we qualified 18th. We managed to work our way back into the points and finish P9. We've just chosen Pierre Gasly as our next rival. Obviously, last rivalry was with Yuki Tsunoda, his former teammate, and we tied that one. I think Gasly is going to be a little bit harder to beat. He's in a much faster car, and I think he's also a slightly better driver as well, in my opinion. So I'm going to have to really dig deep if I want any chance of winning a rivalry against the one and only Pierre Gasly. But we'll see whether it's going to be possible or not. But yeah, enough about rivalries. Let's talk about Austria. It's a track I actually do quite like. I have a track record of going quite well here. It throws up a lot of carnage, you know, safety cars, red flags maybe. Obviously not in previous games, but who can say whether we'll get one in this race weekend or not. But yeah, loads of carnage, especially on that pit entry. It seems like the AI is a bit weird with one another around there. They can't help but crash into each other constantly. We're going to change a few engine components here, which are running a little bit worn. You know, you might think that looking at a 63 there, it might not need changing. But you got to remember it's a sprint weekend, of course. So we're not only just doing quali in the race, we've also got an extra 12 laps we're going to be running in the sprint as well. And that might be enough to tip the durability over the edge and cause a mechanical failure in the race if we're not careful. And that is the last thing we want. We have the worst durability on the grid currently. However, we've only had 3 mechanical failures between the 2 drivers so far this season. I've had 2 in the first 2 races of the season, and I think Enzo Fittipaldi had one shortly afterwards. So, yeah, it's not actually been too bad for reliability. It's going to come back to bite me on the arse now I've said that, I'm sure. But, yeah, we will see whether we can have a good result here or not. It looks like it's going to be a little bit of a wet one. It's going to be raining at some point during the sprint and during the race. So hopefully that doesn't negatively impact us too much. The car's not great in the wet at the moment, in no small part due to the fact that I don't have any wet setups or anything like that. I haven't had time to get those yet. But yeah, we are here for practice 1, and we're going to see what kind of pace we can showcase in practice. And it was actually an incredible practice session. We were the second fastest driver on track. No, I'm kidding. It started raining after like 15 minutes, and I was one of the only drivers who'd gone out on a set of softs. So whilst we did have a pretty good time, as you can see, Sainz didn't even go out until the wets were the optimal tyre. So yeah, I can't read too much into that. I think, you know, we were fast, but we definitely weren't the second fastest person on track. If we finish second in the race, I will be absolutely amazed. I think there would have to be quite a lot of incidents for that to happen. But anyway, yeah, that is the end of practice 1. And with that, we're now going to be getting into qualifying immediately. There's no other practice sessions that we have to gloss over, nothing like that. We're just going to be going straight into the qualifying session. The goal here, as always, is going to be P15, and I have my own personal stretch goal of P12. If we can achieve that, then I will be happy with the qualifying we have, especially as I still believe that we are one of, if not the worst car on the grid. So anything that we can do to compete with the cars around us is something that I think is to be commended. We're on a fresh set of soft compound tyres to kick off here in qualifying. It's our first set, and we're going to cross the line to do a 106.0. However, I realised that my car was very overloaded on fuel on this occasion. So I'm going to take some out, go on the same set of tyres, see if we can improve at all. And actually, it looks like we have improved a little bit. Not by a load, you know. I actually took that corner very badly, which is going to cost me about a tenth or so. Would have improved by 2 tenths, but it's less than 1 tenth. We're into the 105s, however, and that is good enough to see us through to the following session in P8. So yes, we're looking pretty good. If we can continue that kind of form in Q2, then we should be through to Q3 perhaps, which obviously we made in Spain a couple races ago. In Canada, we failed to make it out of Q1. Fittipaldi down there in P22. 7 tenths off of safety, and about over a second off of myself as well. Fittipaldi's really not been matching my pace so far this season. You know, we still need to do some personnel upgrades and stuff like that, so I'm not going to hold it against him too much, but I would like to see him make a step forward at some point. We're in now to Q2, and I'm on another fresh set of soft compound tyres, and this time I didn't overload the car on fuel, so we should be able to do a slightly more representative lap time earlier in the session. We crossed the line, it's a 105.7, and yeah, I would say that is pretty good. You know, if we can take that, maybe we can get through to the next session on that alone. I did actually go out on the same set of tires. I was feeling confident in that lap time, and my confidence was rewarded as yeah, you can see that we were actually even ahead of Max Verstappen, the reigning world champion. As we cross the line, it will be P7 is where we will stay. And yeah, we are through to Q3, so we'll see what kind of performance we can put up in Q3, but I'm feeling very optimistic about our chances here, and who knows. Gasly, our rival, has been eliminated, so that's a guaranteed. We've taken the first blow in the rivalry, but yeah, all the cars you would expect through, apart from neither Aston Martin is through. Stroll was eliminated in 17th, and his teammate Alonso will line up alongside him in 16th. So, yeah, very bizarrely poor qualifying for those guys. Both McLarens making it through, as well as the Alpine of Esteban Ocon. So, we're going to see if we can contend with those guys. Those three guys, Norris, Ocon, Piastri, I think are going to be the three that I'm really going to compare myself to. And as we cross the line on a fresh set of soft compound tyres of 105.6, we're ahead of Ocon and Piastri, but we're behind Lando Norris. So, maybe we can find a little bit of improvement on our next flying lap on a fresh set of soft compound tyres to get ahead of Norris. We're actually up on Perez as we come into the final sector here. So if we can have a good couple of corners here, this could potentially be P6 or P7 maybe. And yeah, as we round the penultimate corner of turn 8 and then turn 9, you can see that I am up by a little bit. I don't know if that's going to be enough though. It's going to be almost 2 tenths. We cross the line. It's a 105.4 flat, and it's good enough for P8. We did not improve, unfortunately, up the standings, but I am still very happy with that result.
We're all ready for tomorrow's race, but before we begin, let's have a quick look at those who will be fronting the grid. Leclerc, Sainz, and Lewis Hamilton. Goodbye for now then, and we are really just getting started. Make sure you join us again for Lights Out tomorrow.
Well, the animals went in 2x2 once again as Leclerc and Sainz take a Ferrari front row locking out row 2 with the Mercedes, and locking out row 3 is Verstappen and Perez at Red Bull. And then it's Norris, myself, and then I believe Ocon and Piastri in that order. So, yeah, pretty good qualifying from us. We definitely seem to be able to mix it with the McLarens, the Hasses, and the Alpines. Those are sort of the pack that are fighting for the final few points positions consistently. Aston Martin with a very poor weekend. I guess maybe they're not very fast in a straight line or something. That's like all I can think of, because this track obviously is quite straight line dependent. We're up to level 8 now, which means that we'll be able to get 2 levels of driver perks. I haven't even got the first level of them yet because I keep forgetting, but once we re-sign Fittipaldi for the second half of the season, I think that's when I will try and get those perks bought if I can. And yeah, we are now going to get ready to get into the sprint. There is going to be some rain for at least the start of the session, probably the majority of the session if I had to guess, and we'll see if we can convert that P8 in qualifying into a points finish in the sprint.
Well, the weather is not looking good today. We are expecting the downpours to continue into today's sprint. This will make for some tricky conditions for all the teams. Off the back of a fantastic qualifying session, it's time to see how our starting grid looks for today's sprint. Fantastic effort from Charles Leclerc yesterday, and it's put him on pole. A very happy Carlos Sainz will start second. Looking down the rest of the grid, we have Hamilton, Russell, Verstappen, Perez, Norris, Robinson, Ocon, Oscar Piastri, Gasly, Albon, Bottas, Tsunoda, Magnussen, Fernando Alonso, Stroll, Joe, Hulkenberg, De Vries, Sargent, De Vries. Which of these drivers will get pole position today? We will soon find out.
Well, they've decided to go to the grid here, even though there is nothing that they want to say about it. They've done this. They don't usually do this for a sprint, in my experience, so I'm not really sure what this is about. But yeah, raining quite heavily by the looks of things. I think it might be starting on the wets by the looks of things, and that is going to make things incredibly challenging. But all we can do is do our best, try to hold on to the positions, and see if we can score a crucial point or two in this championship.
Okay, we've got that relief of having points on the board finally, so let's keep that form up and get another top 10 finish today, please.
Well, if we get a top 10 finish, it might not be enough to grab some points, because this is a sprint race, of course, which means that we need to be finishing in the top 8 to be guaranteed scoring points here, which is easier said than done. But yeah, I reckon it might be possible, and we will see. We'll see if we can do just that. You know, I got a lot of fast cars around me. We've got the Alpines and the McLarens, which we are kind of stuck in between the middle of. And then down in P12 is Alex Albon as well, who, I mean, this is a track that will suit the Williams. It is quite fast in a straight line, so yeah, they will potentially be putting pressure on me on these straights. And yeah, we'll see what he can do, if he can attack me later into the race or not. But yeah, anyway, we're going to get ready to go now as the lights come on. And the lights go out as we switch to the replay camera, and yeah, you can see that I have not actually got a particularly good getaway this time. Usually I'm quite good off the start. It seems like the rain is what is able to nerf me on this occasion, but I'm still going to try and look up the inside of Sergio Perez regardless. We're going 3 wide with him and Norris, and I do not win out over either of those guys, so we still remain in P8 for the time being, coming under pressure from both of the Alpines behind who've jumped Piastri, and we've put a bit of pressure here on Norris because he's tried to defend to the inside there. We're going to try and go around the outside. We're lucky not to make contact with Perez there, I think. But we do steal the position off of Lando Norris, and we're up into that best of the rest spot in P7. So yeah, an incredible overtake there, and that has put us into a good spot. But I don't know if we'll be able to stay here. You know, I reckon these guys are going to be very, very fast. Now it's all about settling into a rhythm, trying to do consistent laps in P7 for as long as we can, and try and defend what we've got with all of our worth. If anyone comes knocking, trying to take it away from me. I must say, I really like the way that the livery of our car looks in the rain, with all the metallic paint and everything. It looks very shiny. It's really cool. I'm a big fan of it. But yeah, Norris behind is piling the pressure on, and he hasn't really relented any. It looks like he might be even potentially looking for a move up the inside here as we come down to turn 1 on lap 2, and by the time we get to the corner, he is ahead, and we have fallen back down to P8. Now, as we move back into the TV camera, you can see that there has been a safety car. I'm not quite sure why this has been deployed, but it's typical Austria, you know. I feel like the day that I have an Austrian GP weekend without a safety car, something seriously bad must have happened to cause that. But yeah, in any case, safety car was out, nobody retired, and then on end of lap 4, we were able to get racing again. One of the Mercedes is actually into the pits there. Hamilton, I'm not sure why that is. Maybe he had damage or something like that. I'm not quite sure. Or maybe he's trying to gamble on a set of inters. It looks like we're on the crossover period at the moment as Norris goes a bit deep into the corner, and I go absolutely sailing past up into P5. And yeah, this is a very, very interesting situation I'm finding myself in now, where actually we could be on to score not only points, but a good haul of them too, as Gasly has overtaken Norris there as well. I'm struggling for grip through the corners quite a lot, and now we are looking at the Williams of Alex Albon, who I don't think will be scoring points today on account of the fact that he is pulling off to the side of the road with some kind of mechanical problem. Not clear whether it's engine or gearbox, but that will spell the end of Alex Albon's race, and disappointment for him, because I feel like he definitely will have felt like there were potentially at least 1 point on offer there. Now on lap 6, as we prepare to go racing again, or actually no, it's a virtual safety car. I jumped the gun on the prepare to go racing again thing. Yeah, the virtual safety car is out, and yeah, we maybe get a bit of respite from the pressure we're experiencing behind from Gasly and Norris, but that is only, of course, short-lived, less than a lap, and then the virtual safety car is back in, so to speak, and yeah, we're going to go racing again. And now as we go racing again, you can see that I've had a bit of a moment here on the exit of that corner, and I get on the curb and I lose out to Gasly quite significantly there, and also we're coming under pressure from Lando Norris as well, who I think we're just about going to stay ahead of for the time being to hold P6, but I think that this is a matter of when rather than if, because I am really struggling now. I think the Inters are definitely the faster tyre to be on, and they have not changed in this game, that the AI seems to do way better on the wrong compound of tyre than you do. I don't know what it is specifically, but I really struggle when it's into conditions in the wet, or wet conditions in when it like wet tyres, but into conditions, I guess. So yeah, this is exactly what we're facing right now, and Norris has put enough pressure on us to eventually make a move for P6 there, and now I think we're coming under pressure from his teammate Oscar Piastri as well, who was looking at maybe going for a move around the outside there, but I covered it off just in time, and yeah, we have moved into that P7 position now, which I think will be P8 sooner rather than later, if I had to guess, as we go a little bit wide at, I believe this is turn 6 or 5, I'm not sure, and yeah, Oscar Piastri piling the pressure on, make a bit of contact there, and he is through. No damage on our car, fortunately. You can see I'm lighting up the rear tyres a lot here in Austria, which is maybe why we're suffering so much. This is Sergio Perez, who boxed for Inters earlier in the race, but won't get to see whether that was the right call or not, because he is retiring from the Grand Prix as well. I feel like he's had a lot of retirements this season. That Red Bull powertrain not working out for him. Verstappen not seeming to experience those same problems that Perez has been experiencing. There's another virtual safety car, so we've had one safety car and two virtual safety cars so far in this race, or this sprint I should say, and yeah, maybe that will be the last of them now. I can't imagine that there will be one this late into the race again, but yeah, there's a lot of virtual safety cars coming out. I feel like the racing is just very stop-start at the moment, and now as we move on to lap 11, you can see I'm coming under pressure from Magnussen and Alonso in the Haas and the Aston Martin respectively. I go very deep there at turn 2, and yeah, we're coming under a lot of pressure now from Magnussen. I think he's going to be able to find his way through into that P8 position. We're down to P9, out of the points, so I'm going to try and do everything I can to get back there. We go deep into the corner, but we go too deep, and he goes through, and also now we're coming under pressure from the cars behind. Here's Lewis Hamilton on the intermediate tyres. We remember him boxing earlier under the safety car, or as the safety car came in, and he's managed to recoup all of that time on the superior compound of tyre, and he made his way into P8 by the end of the race, which means that he steals the final point off of Kevin Magnussen, and sadly we could not hold on to that points finish, despite the fact that we were as high as P5. We'll cross the line in the sprint to take P10, which means we're starting from a decent position tomorrow, but there is a lot to think about before then, and at least it will be dry, which should hopefully stop stop any issues I might be having. But yeah, not what I was hoping for here in Austria.
So then, it's time to see how this result affects the Drivers' Championship.
Carlos Sainz extends his lead at the top, getting ever closer to securing the championship.
The grid is set then, so that just leaves the race itself. Join us tomorrow, where we'll be live with all the action, and until then, goodbye.
It's another W for Carlos Sainz, who extends his lead at the top of the championship. Obviously, not as many points handed out for the sprint race, so he's still got a lot to do if he wants to maximise his points here in Austria. But yeah, we will be starting in a points-paying position. We usually get good starts in the dry, and I have it on good authority that the race is going to be starting in the dry. So I'm hoping that at least we will be able to jump a few positions, and hopefully maybe score come the end of the race. But yeah, we've got a lot to think about before then. You know, it's 36 laps around Austria, which is not a small amount, even though it's quite a short lap. There's still going to be a long way to go before we reach the checkered flag, and I'm sure there will be the potential for much more chaos and carnage as we go. So we're getting ready to get into the Austrian Grand Prix now, but first we're just going to talk about something a little bit different. I am giving away a free copy of F1 23 on PC for all of you to enter. All you have to do is click the link in the description and check out the link and find out the ways that you can enter the giveaway. There are a number of ways you can enter just by simply clicking the link to my channel on YouTube, following me on Twitch, following me on Twitter, or retweeting my giveaway tweet to all of your followers to extend its reach. The giveaway closes on the 2nd of July at 11:59 PM British Standard Time, so make sure you've entered by that point if you want any entry into the giveaway. Any time that you try to enter after that, you won't be counted, and I will be drawing the giveaway immediately afterwards. You'll be contacted by email if you win, and good luck.
It's race day in Spielberg for this year's Austrian Grand Prix. We are just a few moments away from lights out, and our drivers thinking about navigating the Niki Lauda curve, as it was renamed in 2019, in memory of one of Formula One's most beloved figures. 7 rights and just 3 left-handers make up the 10 corners of this high-speed circuit. Turn 2 is flat out, a left-hand kink into the uphill braking zone of Turn 3. Turns 1, 3 and 4 are all potential opportunities to overtake. Off the back of a fantastic qualifying session, it's time to see how our starting grid looks like for today's race. It's Carlos Sainz in pole position, and it's Charles Leclerc in P2. Considering the rest of the grid, we have Russell, Verstappen, Gasly, Norris, Oscar Piastri, Hamilton, Magnussen, Robinson, Fernando Alonso, Bottas, Tsunoda, Stroll, Hulkenberg, Sargent, Joe, De Vries, Fittipaldi, Ocon, Perez, Ocon. It's almost time for the lights to go out, so let's head down to the track where preparations are underway. Anthony Davidson is with us once again in commentary, which is always good news. And tell us about the strategy today. Give us some insights into how the big calls are made.
Well, there's a lot that both the driver and the team have to keep in mind when going into a race. The tyres, fuel, energy recovery systems, the list goes on and on. But I think the key to today's victory will come down to the pit stop strategy. Come in too soon and you might find yourself needing more than one stop. Too late and you're putting yourself at a disadvantage by spending longer on worn tyres.
So, we are going to be doing an interesting strategy here today. I'm actually going to be risking it on a set of softs. The tyre wear here isn't super high. So, yeah, we're going to be doing what I believe is our first ever soft medium strategy. There is some projected rain at the end of the race, so I don't know if this is going to be, I don't know if this is going to be necessarily the correct strategy to be on. But it really depends on when that rain comes. If it comes between the pit windows, people starting on the softs and people starting on the mediums, then obviously that will be very unfortunate. But I think it's due to be coming in within the last, like, 5 or 10 laps probably. So yeah, I think we should be okay, and hopefully hopefully we can have a good race before that to get ourselves into a good position now as the lights come on. And the lights go out, and we've had a very good getaway as I expected. We blitz past Lewis Hamilton there, and we get ahead of Kevin Magnussen, and we're up into P8 already. Kevin Magnussen trying to go around my outside, but I've held him off. Or have I? It seems like we're going wheel to wheel at the moment. I've had a lot of ICE wear, which means that we're going to be down on power quite significantly, and you can see that Kevin Magnussen blitzes past me when I'm not burning that battery. But I'm going to try and go for a double overtake there on both Magnussen and Pierre Gasly, and we're up into P7. Capitalise on the fact that Gasly kind of had nowhere to go, stuck behind Piastri, and yes, we've moved up into P7 off the start of this Grand Prix already, so we're looking very, very hot to trot right now, and we'll see if we can make up maybe even a few more positions on the McLarens. We've been competitive with them in qualifying, but those guys are no doubt a little bit faster than us, so they might start to break away, but I'm going to see what I can do to see if I can hold the other cars here behind for as long as I possibly can. And yeah, this is really starting to be quite an interesting position we find ourselves in. You know, we're looking like we might be on for what could be our best ever points finish in Formula One. Obviously, our best finish to date is a P8. So yeah, we're currently on course to beat that, but we've still got a long way to go. 35 more laps as we start the second lap now, and yeah, we'll see what we can do. But we move now on to lap 3, and I'm coming under a lot of pressure from Kevin Magnussen, the Dane in the Haas. Already, I'm sure my tyres will be starting to suffer a little bit compared to his. You know, he's on those mediums, and you can see that he has launched a bit of a move on me here, but will he be able to make it stick? We make a bit of contact there. That was my fault. I was squeezing him too far to the inside, but no harm, no foul, as they say. I was even coming under pressure a little bit from Gasly there too. But we do manage to hold him off at least. Kevin Magnussen, meanwhile, has made his way through. We have another moment on that curb, much like we did in the sprint race. And now Gasly is closing us down, and he has made the move for P8. So we've already fallen 2 positions after that incredible start up to P7. George Russell, I believe, is currently leading the race in P1 as he sets the fastest lap there. Now we've moved all the way to lap 8, and you can see that Gasly and Magnussen made contact. I don't know if Magnussen got a bit of a tank slapper on there and had to steer himself into Gasly to stop himself from spinning round, because they made a big dose of contact there. And yeah, there's a massive fight going on ahead of me between these guys right now. Lots of contact coming out. The gloves are fully off between these two. They both want that P7 position. They both feel like they're entitled to it. And all this is doing is just keeping me in the fight with them. You can see that both of them struggling a little bit for grip around these corners. I'm seeing Pierre Gasly having a lot of wobbles, but eventually he does make his way into that position, up into P7, and meanwhile Magnussen there in P8. But yeah, we're going to see if we can do anything to get ahead of these guys. But what that battling has caused is Alonso up into what is that? P8, P7 potentially. No abandon for whether he's going to make the corner or not. He was using the cars to turn. We've changed our strategy, so we're pitting a few laps early, and we've got ahead of Magnussen. And I think we're going to go for a move on Gasly here as well. So Magnussen and Gasly, their battling has cost them 2 positions here to both myself and Fernando Alonso, who's got ahead of me and made up 3 positions in just the space of a few corners. Unreal scenes coming out from the Spaniard there, but I think we might be able to get him back with the DRS here. We're going to go to the inside at the braking zone of turn 3, and we've made our way up into P7 once again. So Magnussen and Gasly really doing me a solid there with all that battling. Alonso still holding on to this fight. We're going to see who wins out on this occasion. Keeping my nose in even around the outside of these next couple of corners, and I think that by the time we exit the corner, we are going to be ahead of him once again. So my goodness, there's some very intense racing going on between myself and Fernando Alonso right now. But you can see he has dropped off a little bit, and it's actually Kevin Magnussen who is piling the pressure on me. Come lap 8, you can see that his medium tyres are probably doing a little bit better than mine. It's only a few laps before my pit lap at this point. The tyre wear was a bit higher than they were expecting it was going to be, which hasn't helped. I'm going to see if I can do anything to get back at him in the braking zone of turn 3. We'll have the DRS on this occasion, but I think he might just be a little bit too far ahead on this occasion. Yes, I think he is, and yeah, we might have to just say goodbye to this position for the time being. Lap 14 now, and we are going to be coming into the pit lane to put on the medium compound tyres to potentially the end of the race, provided that the rain does not arrive in time to mess with our race. However, I think it might just do exactly that. We'll have to wait and see. But yeah, finally a little bit of respite in this race. Goodness me, this has been very intense. Lots of gloves off, wheel-to-wheel battling going on right now. But I'm sure that the carnage is just getting started. You can see that Alonso also came into the pits at the same time as me, and he's going on to the mediums to what could potentially be to the end of the race. And we've actually come out basically in last. There's Fittipaldi going past. He was in last before me and Alonso pitted. So we're going to have to try and clear him nice and quickly, as well as the other 2 cars ahead of him, Sargent and De Vries, who are both on worn soft tyres as well. So yeah, we're going to have a bit of a challenge on our hands if we're going to get ahead, especially as Fittipaldi is going to have that DRS. I'm going to have to burn quite a lot of battery because I want to clear him sooner rather than later. He's actually defending me to the inside. No team orders here, unfortunately, as much as I might like to give them. We're on split strategies. What are you doing? But you know, we eventually make it past him, and we're still piling the pressure on Sargent and De Vries here. So yeah, no harm, no foul, I guess. We're going to go for an audacious overtake here on Nick De Vries at turn 5, which, you know, that's not really a particularly conventional overtaking spot, you'd have to say. And yeah, it looks like we're making our way through at the moment. This is Fernando Alonso, who obviously was running behind us, actually running in last at this particular moment in the race. And I mean, he's going to be running a lot more than last, because he will be the first retirement of this race. Particularly slow, the Aston Martins here, compared to what you've come to expect from them. But yeah, that is the end of his race, and I mean, you can't get any slower than that. We move now on to lap 17. I did eventually clear Sargent, but we're now coming under pressure from Yuki Tsunoda in the AlphaTauri, our former rival and he has actually managed to make a move up into P13. I'm struggling quite a lot compared to him, it seems. I'm not really sure what's going on. Maybe we're overheating the tyres or something like that. But yeah, weirdness. Now we're looking at Alex Albon, and we're looking at Alex Albon crashing into the back of Enzo Fittipaldi, who was about to come into the pits to put those hard compound tyres on. And that is 2 retirements for Albon this weekend in both the sprint and the race, and that is a virtual safety car which has been deployed for that incident between Albon and Fittipaldi. So yeah, very weird situation there, and it's actually been upgraded to a full safety car. So yeah, very bizarre incident going on there. Not something we haven't seen before, but still nonetheless very violent, and I hope he is okay. So now we're looking at the safety car train here. You can see that Leclerc is currently leading from, I believe that is Verstappen and Sainz, and they are running behind the safety car as they come up the hill towards turn 2. I'm catching up to the back of the train now, but the safety car has disappeared. I think it fell through the floor there or something like that, and you can see it respawned on track, but a few cars have already gone past it, and yeah, that was very, very weird. That is the weirdest glitch I have ever seen in a Formula 1 race in this career mode. But yeah, it was just Leclerc that went past. Verstappen just about managed to stay behind it, and Leclerc's been disqualified as a result of that. We've managed to pass through a couple of cars there, and there's a red flag. What on earth is going on here?
Okay, let's get ready to go racing again. The safety car is in this lap.
I have never seen anything like that before. Yeah, 2 cars stopped on track. Leclerc getting ahead of the safety car because it fell through the floor. What on earth happened there? Yeah, no idea what is going on with that. Strategy-wise, we're looking at our personalized strategy. They recommend going on hards to the end of the race. I was thinking maybe honestly going on another set of softs, but I guess when you think about it, it doesn't really matter now what happens, because this order that we're starting in here will be the finishing order. It will be a win for who is it? Oscar Piastri. No, Oscar Piastri started second, didn't he? It'll be Verstappen, I think, will be winning there. And it will be myself finishing P5 no matter what happens. Oscar Piastri's taken the lead. I'm up into P2, and it's just so devastating because none of this is going to matter at all, because of the way that the red flag glitch is working at the moment. Maybe by the time that this video comes out, it might be fixed, but at the time of recording this, it is not fixed, and eventually we lose out to Max Verstappen there. That P2 stint was short-lived. You might remember at the start of the video, I actually joked about I'd have to get really lucky to be in P2, and I mean, we were there for a split second. George Russell now piling a bit of pressure on us as well, and he's maybe going to get ahead of us here. He's on the soft compound tyres, whereas the rest of us, myself, Piastri and Verstappen, all on the hard compound tyres. So yeah, Russell carving his way through the field here. I think there's been another retirement from the Grand Prix. I didn't notice that, but I think it was Lando Norris. We didn't manage to get footage of that, unfortunately. But yeah, 4 retirements from this Grand Prix. And on lap 26, the rain is coming down. It is raining, and yeah, I might have to get my umbrella out for these last 10 laps, because it is going to be a wet one. We thinking about potentially boxing this lap, but I think I'm going to try and stay out one more lap, see if we can do anything to you know, make sure we're on the right tyres at the right time. And immediately I regret my decision when I see how wet the track is. You know, I'm thinking to myself, I should have come in, I should have boxed, I should have come onto the inters. What would have been the issue? There would have been nothing to lose, really. We knew the track was getting wetter. Oscar Piastri still battling for the lead with Verstappen. Meanwhile, I'm battling with Verstappen's teammate Sergio Perez, piling the pressure on me. Somehow he's managing to overtake in the wet. We are going to be changing strategy on this occasion. It hasn't really told me what the strategy is. I assume it's going on to intermediate tyres. I go to the MFD to check, and indeed, it seems it is just that. And yeah, we have lost out to Perez, so we're down into P5, which is fine, because that is where we are going to be classified anyway, no matter what happens here. There is nothing I can do to change that. And yeah, we're just going to see what we can do to enjoy this wet race for the last 10 minutes without pressure, really, because yeah, like I said, it's not really material We are going to be coming into the pits on this occasion. Because Verstappen's coming into the pits, though, Perez is actually staying out for an extra lap, which means I'm absolutely nailed on going to be getting past him again. There's no way I'm going to be slower than him on the softs when I'm on the intermediate tyres in these conditions. I think we're going to be taking these inters to the end of the race unless it gets really wet towards the end. But even then, you know, will there really be enough time for it to be relevant? We'll have to see. Enzo Fittipaldi, they deemed there was a big enough gap for the two of us to double stack here. Hopefully I don't get held up too long, and indeed, it seems I don't. Sainz is still behind me, Verstappen's still ahead of me, and we've only got 8 more laps to conclude this race. We'll see where we can finish. Will it be P4, which I think is where we're going to come out after Hülkenberg and Perez up front pit? The former Force India teammates, of course, leading, but that's only because they've stayed out for an extra lap compared to their teammates. Lance Stroll's managed to work his way up all the way from P17 in qualifying. He's now P6 on track, so he's having an absolutely fantastic time of things as well. Carlos Sainz now piling the pressure on as well. Will he be able to overtake here? I think we're going to squeeze him to the outside of turn 1 and hold on to P4 for the time being. My voice is really starting to go at this point. It's been an absolutely crazy, chaotic race. We've had a red flag, we've had safety cars, we've had glitches, we've had rain. You know, is there anything that we haven't had here in the Austrian Grand Prix? I guess Enzo Fittipaldi scoring some points could have been about the only way that this would have been any more chaotic. But I don't think that's going to happen, unfortunately. He's running quite far down. But, you know, anything could happen in these last couple of laps as Verstappen has pitted and we are up into a podium position. It's not going to matter, but I'm assuming he must have got some damage on Piastri or something like that, because that is going to be the end of his race, and we are rounding the final corner on the penultimate lap to begin lap 36, the final lap of the race. And we're coming under pressure from Carlos Sainz once again. He's coming up my inside. We're going to leave him a bit of space on the inside there, but he's turned into my side pod. And yeah, it looks like he wasn't even trying to make the corner there. He's caused us quite a lot of damage there. We've gone down to sort of yellowy green sort of damage there. And yeah, we're going to have to try and hold him off now for the entire remainder of the lap with that damage. I'm going to be getting a big deduction of cash at the end of the race for that one, I'm sure. However, it seems like these guys have started to fall away a little bit. It looks like Carlos Sainz's best opportunities to get past me might be behind him at this stage. And yeah, we're potentially going to hold on to this P3. Like I said, it's not going to matter one bit because yeah, this is not canon as far as the red flag is concerned until they fix that red flag glitch where the classification is what it is at the end of the race rather than at the end of the red flag. It's not going to make a difference. George Russell wins. I don't know if he's actually going to win. Oscar Piastri will come home to take second, which again, I don't know if it's going to be second, but if it is, then that's a first podium in Formula 1 for Piastri, and we are going to cross the line to take podium position on track, but will it be a podium in reality?
A truly magnificent drive to hang on and take the win. Tell me, Anne, how do you think they were able to deliver such an incredible result today?
It's a heroic effort for any driver to race in conditions like these, and seeing them fight their way to the front was very special indeed. They were able to find all the grip, all the good lines, and had the confidence to get on the power to top it all off. That's what pushed them into first place here today.
After an excellent performance at the Grand Prix, I'm sure there'll be plenty of celebrations tonight amongst the Mercedes team, and they certainly deserve it.
Well, more weird glitches going on here. George Russell doesn't have any teeth, but it is a first podium for Oscar Piastri. However, it's Lewis Hamilton that rounds out the podium. I'm not really sure why that is, but I mean, congratulations to him, I guess. And yeah, we were just a few positions away from our first ever podium in Formula 1. We finished a career best P5 in the end in the classification, so I'm still not too miffed about that. 10 points, Piastri on the podium. He'll be absolutely delighted with that P2, and hopefully George Russell will get some dentures before the next race.
And now let's take a look at the drivers' standings.
Carlos Sainz extends his lead at the top, getting ever closer to securing the championship.
So let's discuss, and who would you say is a contender for your driver of the day?
Max Verstappen seemed to just effortlessly weave through the other drivers today without a care in the world. He was definitely my driver of choice.
Let's move on to the constructors. No change in the top spot, but with today's points, their hold on the lead is getting weaker. Meanwhile, good work from the owner-drivers team this weekend, who pushed themselves further up the order. Well, That certainly was an exciting weekend of Formula One. Be sure to join us for more exciting Formula One action very soon.
So we have made our way up into P11 in the driver's standings, and we've jumped Haas in the constructors off the back of those 10 points as well. So that could prove to be a very critical result come the end of the season. What an absolutely incredible race. What a ridiculous race. That might have been the weirdest race I think I have ever had in a Formula One game. I have never really experienced a glitch quite like that. I know some creators here on F1 have had glitches like that in their career mode before, and I guess it's true what they say. The more races you do, the more likely it is you're going to encounter something like that. I mean, even I remember come towards the end of the game's life cycle, I believe it was Ben Daly had a glitch where he in Mexico started on top of Alex Albon, which was a very bizarre situation to find himself in. But yeah, that glitch with the safety car, definitely probably the weirdest thing I've ever experienced in a game like this. Maybe coupled only with a glitch I experienced on F1 2018, I think it was, Russian Grand Prix. Sergio Perez got a puncture and refused to pit. And so we spent the entire race either running behind the safety car or the virtual safety car, and that was a 100% distance Grand Prix. One of the most painfully slow races I've ever done. It took about 2 hours, maybe longer than that. It was really not very fun. But yeah, what an absolutely amazing result. Sainz in the end was classified P9, so he's going to be absolutely devastated, I think, with that result to find himself that far down, and yeah, potentially a big blow to his championship chances. I don't know where Verstappen was classified in the end there either. It was hard to keep on top of everything. In the end, it was only 1 point for the AlphaTauris, so I don't know why things were classified the way they were. It almost seems like the game just kind of guessed where everyone was supposed to be. I guess that's fine. I don't really know. But yeah, I mean, I guess we'll take it. You know, we found our way somehow into P5. 10 points on the board, and that could prove absolutely critical. We've already outscored our first season tally from F1 22. We scored 20 points in that due to 2 P5 finishes only. That was it. We didn't score points on any other occasion than that. We've had a P5 here now, which is an incredible result to find ourselves in, even in a chaotic race such as this one. Pierre Gasly somehow still outscoring us over the course of that weekend, and we find ourselves tied on points as a result. But yeah, we are moving up in the acclaim standings, and the rate we're going, it's not going to be too long probably until we're going to be able to sign another sponsor to the team. And yeah, whatever balance changes they've made seem to have worked in quite the opposite direction to what I was expecting, because it seems like things are maybe even a little bit faster, a little bit easier than they usually are on this year's game compared to previous years. So yeah, maybe we'll find ourselves with front-running pace sooner rather than later. But yeah, we'll have to find out, as that is the end of the video now. If you enjoyed, please make sure you like and subscribe, and hopefully I will see you in the next one.